What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Happy Hour Live. Glad that you could be here. I am here. I am Dave. This is Happy Hour Live, where we talk about full-time RV living, answer your questions, and probably create more questions is more like what we do. So looks like we got a lot of people in the house. Tonight, we're going to be going over the tools. Actually, it's over that shoulder right there. Yeah, that is the mythical, let's see if I can move out of the way, the mythical welder that Dave carries around with him. And that is not part of my 10 items that you should have that a lot of people don't have in their toolboxes they really need to have. And we're going to go over each one of those tonight. Do I like the welder? Absolutely. Is it one of the top 10? No. It's one of my top 10, but I know how to use it, and I am thankful every time I have to use it, even if it's working on friends' rigs or something like that. So I carry it around with me. Let's see who else is in the house. We're going to go over all these 10 items, and we'll probably find out what your 10 favorite items are. I see Karen's new journey is in the house. Glad to have you here, hon. She's not too far away. She's she is just over the hill a little ways there. There was a fire up there, and I just got a report of. Hopefully that's. I don't think that's anywhere near you, hon. So let's hope. Anyway, let's go back into the group here and see Karen. Miss Karen gets the nod for first. Good job. WCRV Adventures, RV Living Life. Gary and Carol, you guys are in the house. Glad to have you guys here. HC Carefree Highway. Oh, Tigner Adventures. How are you guys doing? Next Exit. Glad to have you along. Bob and Pearl. They just kicked out a video today. I haven't had a chance to watch them yet, so I'm gonna have to get on that. So, oh, going down the list here. Let's see. You guys have been talking. Good for you. All right. Now, see, I've got my own stuff in the way here. So, no fire here, Miss Karen says. Good. I'm glad. I think it's up by Gordy's, though, hon. Just a heads up there. Yeah, where the hell will I ever put a welder? You know what? You've got the space, Gary. You can't tell me you don't have the space. So you just have to make room for it. Oh, glad to see you. HC Carefree Highway says, hi, Dave. Glad to have you here. Same with RV Living Life. Glad to have you guys here. Oh, should we get into it? So, I've been teasing you guys for a couple weeks now and giving you a little heads up of what's coming down the pike. But I wanted to go over those lesser known items that are in our toolboxes that, a lot of people, unfortunately, don't carry around, and they really need to. If you're going to work on your rig, let's do it professional. I bought a lot of items down at Harbor Freight today, as a matter of fact. I'll show you those items here in a little bit. I think everything on my list could be bought for less than $100. I know today I got some essential items, and at least 4 of my items, and I think it was less than $12, less than $13, something like that. So Miss Karen knows, because I've been making her go and buy these things, and some of them she doesn't even know how to use, but she's learning, and she knows how to use them now. The trick is, some of these things, even if somebody else is going to work on your rig, they're going to ask you if they have these things, so that I know I am. Just because if I'm going to help you with your rig, I want to do a professional job and make sure that it gets taken care of right. And some of these things are simple, easy stuff that I guess people don't think about, or maybe don't know about. So that's why we're going to cover them tonight. Oh my gosh. Next thing, let's give a shout out to them and their channel. My gosh, Bob and Pearl, hopefully you guys are doing well. I think they're up. Are you guys in North Dakota? I think you're up there. Oh, guess what we got, guys? Guess what we got? So if you know, I've talked on the channel before what we're using for the Wi-Fi. We've been using the Mobley, and I've been using that reliably for 4 years now. The problem with, and it's a great plan. I've had no problem. I couldn't give one complaint about it, other than it shuts off every 2 hours, which sometimes you can get by. Sometimes it's irritating. But I also knew that you can't buy those things anymore. If you have the Mobley, and you know that your time has to be limited. It's an electronic part. It's gonna give up, guys. It's not gonna last forever. If you want to hold on to that plan, you're gonna have to have something to put it in. Well, watching Technomadia, Chris and Cherie over there are great, and they have a wealth of information. Go check out their channel. They cover everything Wi-Fi, everything techie, from batteries to Wi-Fi to hotspots. They basically cover it all. One of the things they suggested, though, on the Mobley is because they don't manufacture them anymore, and if it breaks down, you may be out of luck. They suggested buying a hotspot device, which I've got right here in my hands. And I knew this. Problem was they wanted like $150 to $200 for these hotspots, and I couldn't make it a priority. It's been 4 years now. I've been using that Mobley, and I finally found one on Amazon, of all places. $37, guys. It's wireless. It charges up, and that's what's providing our internet tonight, provided I don't press any buttons here. I better set it down over here. But yeah, been using that for a couple days now. I spotted that on Amazon, and I just couldn't pass it up. So if you're using the Mobley out there, yeah, you should probably get a second device, something that you can set up. Yes, I did have to call and receive the puck codes, which if you go over to Technomadia, they'll explain about those puck codes. It's an unlock code so that you can use your SIM in another device. It is kind of a challenge getting those. I probably spent about 45 minutes on the phone with AT&T. I did get them. There's been some question in the future if they'll still give out the puck codes, but I had, other than waiting on terminal hold for a long time on the phone, finally got a hold of the right tech person and managed to get both of those codes. I've saved them on my computer, so hopefully I'll never need to call them again. And I can hold on to my Mobley, which is working. And they recommend that, to put the Mobley up and just save it, because if you ever get that nasty little letter from AT&T saying that you're using your card in a device that's not qualified, you can slip it back into your Mobley and say, no, here it is. So we are locked down, waiting on parts. Well, we bought new tires. During the install, the coach fell off of a jack. Oh, front spring hanger got caught on the jack and broke it. Oh, so sorry to hear that. Oh my gosh. Let's see. There's an update from Bob and Pearl. We came over the hill a couple days back into eastern Idaho. Now for the next month, probably wonderful boondocking there. You know, hopefully you showed that on your latest video. I'm going to go and check that out, Bob, because Idaho is not someplace that I have spent a lot of time, and I'd like to get over that way. And especially northern Idaho. Well, you know what? I can't say there's a bad part of Idaho. Every part that I've been into has actually been pretty beautiful. So, oh, you guys are talking here. All right. Oh, that's a good deal right there. We use Rogers, Canada, USA cell service. I haven't heard of that one before. 200 gigs a month on any carrier in Canada. I've been using T-Mobile for the phones, and a little bit of hotspot and data on those. But the nice thing is I can stream that up onto the TV and watch Netflix unlimited as long as I like, and it doesn't count towards my data. So that's been kind of a nice feature. The other one I use is AT&T, and that is supposedly capped at 30 gigabytes, but I've never had it throttled, and I know I've seen updates from AT&T that I used 120 plus gigs last month. So that gets used quite a bit, and that I know of, I've never been throttled. So, oh yeah, no, USA citizens can't have it. That's okay. You know, it's still good information though, Gary, because there's a lot of Canadian citizens up there that are trying to figure out Wi-Fi options. So either way you look at it, thanks for sharing it. So Rogers in Canada. Yeah. I never heard of Rogers. So Roger is Canadian. Well, I assumed Rogers was Canadian. Oh, all right. Let's move on here. So we're going to go down the top 10. Now, my top 10 really isn't, it isn't numbered in preference. But you know what? I'll give my honorable mention to the welder. It's a Lincoln wire welder. It plugs right into 110, and I can weld up pretty decent heavy stuff without too much problem. I've had that unit for over 10 years. I used it as part of my work, and I really do appreciate having a welder. So the other one that I'm going to give honorable mention to is let's see right there, the DeWalt. You know, just a good cordless driver that you can use as a drill or as a driver, a screwdriver, is invaluable, especially if you're working on a lot of things. Just my TV in the back takes about 6 screws to pull out. If I had to do them by hand, it'd probably take me 20 minutes. Using that, I can pull that down in probably about a minute. So just saves a lot of time. I've had the DeWalt for a lot of years, really love it. And I would recommend it. Now, no, I did not make Miss Karen buy a driver. So, let's see. Tigner Adventure chiming in here. It says, we do about 250 gigs a month, but have been throttled from time to time. We are on AT&T. Yeah. You know, 250 gigs, that's a good amount right there. One of the things, if you're using Netflix a lot, you can go onto your account. You can't do it from the Netflix on your TV, but if you sign on your computer and go to your settings on your Netflix account, I turned my quality down to I believe it was CD, so it's just above standard definition. It's been plenty, and it uses a lot less data. So heads up, if you're heavy users of Netflix, you can kind of tone that down a little bit by going and adjusting your settings on Netflix. Other ones I don't know. Hulu and all those, I'm not sure. I don't have any of those. So but I have seen some people with 500 plus gigs used on Netflix, and if you're paying for your data and you have data caps, you may want to consider that. All right, let's go to number 10, and we're gonna start off with a good one. Now, these aren't in any preference order, so I just I grabbed these. Eternabond tape. Now, I have an old version. I don't even know if it's Eternabond brand, but this is something that I have carried around with me for a lot of years, and it has a gray backing on it that you can peel away and stick this down to your coach, say you get a roof leak or you get a hole in your roof or even on the side, and this gray stuff is really sticky. We just used some on Miss Karen's rig back in Nevada when she had a really bad leak, and we found out it was coming from a really bad job on somebody did on her AC. We're glad that we had these because I used quite a bit. Now I have a roll, and I can't honestly tell you where I found that at. And this one kind of covers a lot, and it sticks directly down over top of what you're trying to repair. And once you got it on there, there's nothing that's going to leak there. It is really good stuff. This may or may not be actual Eternabond. I've had this over 10 years. I had it in my old coach. Now it's in this coach, just for that time that you may need it in an emergency and to cover up holes in the roof. So if you've worked with the Eternabond before, you kind of know the stuff is pretty darn good. It does have another backing on the other side. Let's see if I can peel that off. And there we go. So, and that is the white finish is what you'll have on top of your roof. And there's nothing more needs to be done. You just cut it. It's like patching a hole on a tire tube. If you've ever done that before, except you don't need glue. You just roll this stuff on. Works fabulous. And let's face it, there are times when you'll get, accidents happen. And I've seen branches go through sidewalls. I've seen branches or any number of damage that can happen, say to a skylight or something up on the roof. That stuff will seal it up. Now, the skylight, obviously, it's not going to be very pretty because it's not translucent, but it will seal it up till you can get that repaired. It is permanent. You can put it up there. If you're doing a repair on your roof like we did for Miss Karen's rig, the stuff is permanent, so you don't have to worry about replacing it or sealing around it or anything like that. So, it does work, guys. It really does work. So now that'll run you a little bit. If you go to Amazon, let me see if I can share screen. And how about a Chrome tab? And let's go to, yeah, right there. Share that one. And there you go. That's the Eternabond. It comes in all different sizes. They can be a little spendy if you're buying large amounts of it. But see if we can click on that one. But there you go. I wouldn't say you need that much. That's 50 feet right there. But you kind of get the idea. If you can pick up some of that and just throw it in your toolbox, that will come in nicely. So let's see here. Go ahead and take that down. Yeah, that stuff is like, yeah, Miss Karen, we got to use it on top of her rig. I have used it before on my old one. I haven't had any problem on this rig, but it is nice to have that around. So, yeah, there you go. Used a Eternabond to repair a ripped slide topper and has not had any. Yep, exactly. I'll give you one more. I used it on my awning that I did not on this coach, on my old coach. When it rolled all the way up, it actually kind of, the ends were tearing away. It didn't have any cover over it when it was all rolled up. I took a 12-inch piece of that, went all the way across the top seam of my awning, and that, as far as I know, is still on my old coach to this day. And when the awning rolls all the way up, now there's a nice white cover all the way across the awning to protect the awning from sun and things like that. Yeah. True story. In fact, now Gary, Carol, you guys have a new rig. You may find that Dicor is being used less and less now, even around skylights, over the showers, things like that. They are taking a 6-inch wide strip of this stuff and going all the way around it, and they're skipping the Dicor altogether. And honestly, I think it is a great option. I every time that I see one up on newer coaches, especially, I'm a little impressed because I know there'll never be a problem with that around there. But you can go around your vent fans, and there's really, if you can be creative with the stuff, it can be cut with scissors. You could go around vents. You could do just about any of the ceiling up on your roof. So, a little smaller than the welder. No, it is. It's a lot smaller than the welder. All right. So that was number 10. Let's move on down here because we got to see if we can't get through all of these. Oh, this is one that I did have Miss Karen go after. A tire air gauge. We are so used to just running into a tire shop and having them check our tires. It's not really an option when you're out full timing. You got to keep your eye on those tire pressures. And even Miss Karen found out that she needed a tire air gauge. Have you gotten one yet? I don't know if she's gotten one yet, but she one of the things that she found out with her rig, buying it used, is that she had to go down to the tire shop a couple times and say, you need to set my valve stems so that I can check the air on my tires. The way that they were all set up, it was really funky. I don't know what self-respecting tire man would set those up, but I think she's gotten that straightened out now. So now she can check all of the tire pressure on her tires. But so if you don't have that, let's see, what did I do with that? I know it's around here somewhere. You want a halfway decent one, guys, and it's probably going to cost you a couple bucks. They're not very expensive, but this one will actually go inside the duals on my rig so that I can get inside and check the air on that side or check the air from that side. It's a good professional quality, and I really like that. Now, just past that, I will say honorable mention to having air. And I think somebody brought that up last week when we were talking about that air gauge, and you got to have some way to put air into those tires. Even if it's one of those cigarette lighter plug air pumps, something that will help add some air to those tires. So, let's see. I think, can you use Eternabond over Dicor? So let's go back to that one a little bit. I've seen the videos where some people remove the Dicor on the roof and replace it with Eternabond. I honestly think that's what you have to do. I know that the Eternabond will stick to most anything, but I don't know if it'll stick to a sealant like Dicor. And it's best to clean that whole surface up if you decide to go that route. So there's that question right there. Yeah. Yeah. So now if you're replacing your fan and you already have that area all cleaned up, absolutely. I'd say Eternabond over the Dicor. Absolutely. If you're like with Miss Karen's rig, we pulled her AC up and found where the water was leaking. we actually had to repair 2 areas underneath there, and then set that AC back down on top of that. And knock on wood, that hasn't leaked since. So we're gonna, oh yeah, no, does that mean our tire bumper isn't good enough anymore? Yeah, you know, the tire bumper is an old truck driver trick, and it was a little wooden bat, and you just go and thump the tires, and you can generally tell if you have a flat tire. But no, I'd have to say, and that was my dad's way that he taught me when he was driving truck, and thumping the tires probably, it's probably best to run a tire gauge on those and check those every so often anyway. But you know, the truck drivers, they're checking them every morning, and they probably don't want to spend a lot of time checking those. What the tire bumper won't tell you is if the tire is low. It'll tell you if it's flat, but it's not going to tell you if it's low generally. So oh, Miss Karen's got something coming from Amazon. I missed what it was. I didn't see what that was. Yeah. Hey, there's Cowboy Biker Adventures. Don, glad to have you here. Yeah, RV Living Life, TPMS, that's a tire pressure monitoring system. And boy, you know, I have a brother who's been in tires for a lot of years, guys. And when I brought that subject up to him, he said, don't. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. He said, unless you, now his recommendation was if you want to have your sensors installed inside the rim, that would be okay. But he is not a big fan of those tire pressure monitoring systems where they just have the screw on valve over the valve stem. So I don't know if his tune has changed. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I remember talking to him a couple years ago, and I don't know. He's not in the room tonight. Otherwise, I'd kind of roast him a little bit and see if his opinion has changed on those. But so I don't know which way to tell you on that. I do not have a tire pressure monitoring system on my rig, and we'll see if hopefully that doesn't ever turn around to bite me in the butt. So because I kind of like the idea. Oh yeah, that's a good excuse right there. Don says he was late watching Bob and Pearl's video. So, oh, look at there. That's some tire gauges coming from Amazon. Good for you. Hopefully you got the right one. I think she had to buy a special one. I'm not sure. So good for you, though. And she does have a little air pump so she can add air. I don't know if she can actually get that air into where to all of those valve stems, but at least she has something. So, yeah. You know, we can roast my brother on that sometime, you know, and he has been on the live with me before. So you guys that have been watching for a while, next time that he's on the live, we can kind of roast him. So I have to tell you, I kind of like the idea of being able to monitor my pressure. His feeling on them is that those monitors that screw onto the valve stem potentially are going to loosen up and let air out and create their own problems. So, all right, let's moving on from the tire gauge, and let's see if we can get the next one here. Oh my gosh, assorted fasteners. Guys, if you've ever hung out with me, you've probably hit me up on my assorted fasteners, and it is just a collection of nuts, bolts, screws of every size that has ever ended up in my toolbox. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to hold on to those. But I can't tell you how many times, whether it's installing helping somebody install a solar system, helping Miss Karen on her rig, helping helping people. We've done, we have dumped this thing out more times on the table, searching for nuts, bolts, screws. And my biggest recommendation is every time that you come across those, just start a container and start filling them up. And I promise you, if you start doing that, it's going to save you a trip to the hardware store, first of all. Second of all, you know, it is those times that you don't have a hardware store nearby, being able to dump these out and actually find what it is that you need is invaluable. So not really a tool item, but in my tool list, because I use it often, very often. Well, let's see here. Well, Tigner Adventure says his tire pressure monitoring have never come loose, but they have saved me once. Better than a blowout. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, let's see if we can roast my brother on it, because he's the one that told me. So that's the only reason I don't have them to this day. Let's see. Now he's full timing. He's got his own rig. He's got a fifth wheel. So he's actually got more axles than I do, I think. And curious if that has changed or not. Yeah. It's scared many times. Screws or nuts needed, and I have dumped that container out more times than I care to remember, and to find those elusive nut, bolt, screw, whatever it is that we were looking for. So, but a simple item, and hey, now you have someplace to throw all those nuts, bolts, screws, and hopefully they'll save you sometimes. Let's see. Let's go on to the next one here. Well, let's see if we can take. Can we take Miss Karen's down? There we go. And because I couldn't remember. There we go. All right, here we go. Now we're kind of getting into the meat of the action. Now, this is something that I use up constantly, and these are from Harbor Freight. I think they ran me about $2.99. These little doodads are a lifesaver. These are also watertight shrinking, and we got into this discussion last week. These do have an adhesive on the inside. Let me see if I can pull one out, and maybe we can do a little repair. And I'll show you. I did bring some wire with me. Hopefully it's not too big. So these are not your typical butt connectors. When you heat up the ends of this, those are going to shrink down around the wire and actually create a watertight seal around this. And these have become my preferred butt connector for connecting wires. Guys, I can't tell you how many times I have seen wires twisted together and taped up with electrical tape, and it is always a problem. It is always a problem. Don't do it. These are so simple to have, and I'm going to show you the repair, because we'll go ahead and do a repair. But yeah, we were talking last week, and the question came up if they had adhesive that made them watertight, and I have to tell you, I didn't know that, and I went down to Harbor Freight today and I bought some, and they did run me about $2.99, which they weren't on sale. Sometimes they are. If you don't have a set of these, very cheap, very inexpensive, and let's see if we can. This includes a wire stripper, and we'll just do a real quick one here. Oh, all right. All right. We'll put that on there, just like so. Give that a little crimp. Okay. Now, that's normally what you see under coaches. Now, let me show you what we're talking about. I'm making them wire tight or watertight, and this will keep them from corroding and make them go on. So I'm just going to take a little bit of heat. I've got a bit of a breeze here going. So let me see if I can. I have to shield it a little bit, guys. And what that's going to do is just shrink down around that wire and make that completely watertight right there. That isn't the best job. I could spend a little more time doing that. But that right there is a professional way to do it. Now, let me give you one more that I like to do, and that's coming up on the next item that we got, and that is going to be electrical shrink tubing. Again, another Harbor Freight item. All right, and it comes in, I'd say they're about 1 foot lengths. All right, these are another good way of sealing those wire ends up and making a so-so repair a professional repair. Let's go ahead and I've just cut off a little bit here. Now, see if I can slide that over my wire, and we'll I may not be able. Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Now I got to heat this up again, and of course the wind is coming up. So hang with me here, guys. Let's see if I can get this. All I'm going to do is just wave. You can do this with a heat gun or a lighter. And I'm just doing part of it. Whew. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't do that up here because the wind just wants to blow my lighter out. But all I did was took just a simple lighter and just put that right underneath there. And you can see that is a good repair right there. Now, if I did both sides, I could put this tubing right over the top of the whole thing, and that's going to seal up and get us sealed up properly and do a professional job. Again, the most common you see out there are the cheapy butt connectors that come with the kits. They're probably from China. And the problem with those is they corrode and they do go bad. And you end up having to replace them, usually wrapped with electrical tape. Don't wrap it with electrical tape. Put some heat shrink tube on it. You can get this heat shrink tubing all the way up to, I think it goes all the way up to 2 or 3 inches that I've seen before. It probably goes up even higher than that. But the simple stuff that they have at Harbor Freight, $1.99, $1.99, so much better than using electrical tape. And you'll impress your friends if you're doing a repair for them. So there you go on that one. Oh, Tigner's carries a heat gun. Yeah, that is. I wish I had. We're remote here. I couldn't plug it into anything, but yeah, we've been fighting a lot of bad connections done previously on the rig, and keep cleaning up old bad connections. Yeah, and you know, when you come across those, it's time to do them right and get those cleaned up. So, you know, let's see. Oh my gosh, yeah, you found a wireless heat gun for the. I can't even imagine that. But yeah, I imagine you paid dearly for that. So, but I would love it too. If I had a heat gun for my cordless, that would be the way to go. All right, we still have more to do, so let's keep on going here. Got to remember to put it on your wiring before you attach both ends. Yeah, it just slide it onto the wire and then crimp your butt connector on there. Or if you've got female connectors, I don't know if I brought those or not. I have a little box that I don't think I did, but I have a little box that basically has female ends, has ring connectors, has a whole bunch. And even on my cheapy connectors that don't have the watertight shrink tubing on them, I can still put the shrink tube over the top of them. It makes for a nice professional repair and something that you're not going to have to worry about later on. So, all right, let's go on to the next one here. All right. Zip ties. Guys. Oh my gosh, zip ties. How many people? Why is it? Here it is. Harbor Freight zip ties. These little bad boys are cheap and they are lifesavers. $1.99 I think I paid for this. Sometimes they give them away for free. When you come into the store, they'll do their little coupons. But zip ties are the way to go. And if you've never seen these before, they're easy to use. Let's see if I can get back here a little bit and put that over whatever you're wanting to secure. And it's great for tightening up wiring. Anytime that you're going to do any wiring on a rig, you're going to end up playing with zip ties. You're probably going to have to cut them off so you can get at it. And the biggest mistake that I see is people wrapping it up with electrical tape because they don't have any zip ties. Zip ties are cheap and they do a great job. I don't have it with me. We discovered on Miss Karen's rig, they didn't have electrical tape or zip ties. They actually used a rubber bungee cord that had the little metal ends on it. And where they had hooked the metal end to was on wiring that was wearing through on the wiring. As soon as that wears through on at least two of those wires, she's going to be trying to find a wire connection or a wire short and no idea where it is. And I just cringed when I saw that. And no, we got her all zip tied up, all of that wiring taken care of. I wish that I could show that, but this is what happens when you don't have what you need. So you tend to grab wire, baling wire. Yeah. I'm trying to keep you out of trouble, guys. Don't use baling wire. Don't use anything with metal to hang that wiring unless it's secured and insulated. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Looking good. We'll see you later. Glad to have you here. That's David and Ninette. They actually were right here in this spot where I'm sitting right now. We're right by Lakeside at the ranch, Sundance Meadows. So glad to have you here, David. We'll see you guys later. Take care. All right. Let's see if we can roll down the list here. Another one. All right. There's one that a lot of people don't have, but I'll tell you what. Pop rivets and pliers. Guys, there are many times, and I'm going to show you my gun. My actually has a swivel on it, so I can swivel it all the way around and I can get it sideways. It's very simple. I saw this at Harbor Freight today. It was $10.99 with an assortment of rivets. But sometimes you can drill these out to do a repair, but there's a reason why they use rivets, because screws aren't going to hold it, and even if they do hold it, they're not going to hold it for very long. But what that rivet is going to do, it's really easy to use. You can see you slip that through the hole that you want to, if you have two pieces of metal that you want to connect together, and then squeeze the pliers, and you can see if we can get this, just doing it static here. You can see how that's widening up, and that's going to clamp itself in and clamp those two pieces together every time that I squeeze this handle together. If you're trying to do a professional job, you're going to need that. And including, if you saw the video where I did the roof cap on the roof, those required a special, see if we can use it here, a special pry cut. And I'll show you what that one does when it expands out. I do have another bag of these, so I'm not wasting. Look at that, guys. You can see that's going to go inside. There's no screw that's going to do that. The only thing that you're going to get is a pop rivet gun. And let's see if we can pop this one. I don't know if we can or not. I caught it too. All right. It didn't break off all that clean, but there you go. There's my rivet. And you can see by the looks of that, yeah, there's no screw that's going to go in there and grip like that. That's the reason why I had to find these and use them for that roof cap repair. So again, though, it's not hard. It's just a matter of having them around. Pop rivets are definitely something that when you're trying to pull something apart or fix something. I've got one repair that I did on the way here. It was one of my body side panels up on the front fender had worn and broken loose. Two rivets back into that to secure it, and it's fixed. And I have a job that I need to do right now. In fact, when I get back after this live, I'm probably going to fix that, and it's going to take a pop rivet. It's not. I'm not going to be able to use a bolt to make that happen. So, yeah, there you go. There you go. Tractor trailer driver. Wiring had to be zip tied in a way. No wires move on a bumpy road. Wiring wiggles and breaks. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know what? Harbor Freight is, again, $10.99. And that is just, I use it on a regular basis. So, and again, it's the difference between doing a professional repair or just doing something that somebody else is going to probably end up having to fix later on down the road. So, but thanks for that. Let's move right on down the line. Okay, so this next one coming up, guys, here's the tip of the week. Here's the tip of the week. If you don't know what Crc QD Electronic Cleaner is, listen up. All right. I know it from my truck driving days. I know it from working on my lighting for my trailer lighting. How many times have you had a trailer light that maybe the bulb had gotten corroded? And now if you wiggle the bulb, you can get it to come on, but for some reason you just can't get it to come on. And or that trailer plug that or that plug-in that you're trying to plug and it's not quite making a good connection. Here's the stuff that you need right here. You can spray this, and I have literally used this on my phones, on my on the GoPro. I've used it on just the other day. I used it to clean the Chromecast where it plugs into the HDMI on the back of my TV. It's electronic safe. It dries very quickly. But what you do when you spray this in there is it's going to clear off and clean up those contacts so that when you plug that back in, it's going to work. And this will clean up the light sockets. If you have a light bulb that keeps going on and off, this stuff is great stuff. I have recommended it many times to many people, including Miss Karen, who this is my can is empty, and Miss Karen had some, and I needed it to clean up the Chromecast to HDMI port on the back bedroom TV. Worked like a charm. Absolutely great stuff. So thank you, hun, for that. I will get that back to you, I promise. So don't ask me why I didn't buy some. Believe it or not, they did have it at Harbor Freight. I saw it. I just didn't think about it at the time. So yeah. Well, you can have that empty one back, but that's actually my empty one. And but yeah, definitely look into that. Great stuff. All right, we're getting up to the more important stuff that I highly recommend, and there's a reason why they get these spots here. Let's see if we can. We're gonna have to. There you go. A multi-tester. Yes, I did make Miss Karen buy one, and she is learning how to use it. Harbor Freight, $7.99, $7. I think it was $6.99, something like that. All right. I know you're looking at it and you're going, I don't know how to use one of those. That's okay. Here's the deal. They're very easy to learn. And if you ask me and I'm at your rig and you go, wow, can you take a look at such and such? And I most likely, if it's electrical, I'm going to need this. So if you don't have one, that means that I have to go back to my rig or my tool chest and get it. So I actually bought one at Harbor Freight today because I can't find my original one, and Miss Karen's going to laugh because she knows as often as I use that, I don't have her around to keep track of it and keep it where it belongs. And now I've done it. Now I've gone and lost it. So while I was at Harbor Freight, I just went ahead and Miss Karen is laughing, but I actually made you buy one of these, didn't I? And believe it or not, only a few repairs, only a few things trying to chase down problems with her generator, to doing the solar up on the roof, to trying to get, she's got a switch that's bad. We have used this so many times that I'm going to say, even if you don't know how to use one, spend the $7, go and buy one. Because if I come to your rig to help you, I'm probably going to ask if you have one. And if you've watched this video, if you've watched this live and you don't have one, I'm going to make you go to my rig, and then you're going to have to ask Miss Karen where she thinks it might be to find it. So there you go, guys. Absolutely. They're really easy to learn. And if you're trying to fix this up and you're watching a repair video on YouTube, chances are they're going to have a multi-tester and they're going to tell you exactly how to use that. So, yeah, no, I still can't find that. Yeah, I knew you were going to laugh at me. So, oh, okay. So what's on my number one? Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Dicor self-leveling sealant. This is something that you should have in your rig, guys. Again, same reason that you want the for the Eternabond tape. The Eternabond tape is going to cover a puncture or a major problem that you've got up there. If a branch falls or any number of things. If you run too close to a tree or a street sign and it tears a hole in the sidewall, having that Eternabond will help. But for everything else, and including Miss Karen, I think she's bought a couple tubes of it. I recommend the Dicor. Let's see if I can share that screen. So let's see here. How do I change that? Can we switch it over to that one right there? That wasn't. Was that it? That's it right there. All right. Hopefully you have that up there. There it is, Dicor. $10 from this RV supply store for a tube. They have two kinds. They have self-leveling. That's what you see up on your screen right there. And then they have a regular caulking type. You guys didn't get to see that. Let's see if I could try that one more time. Share. Let's see if we can get that. Chrome tab. That one right there. Share that one. That's the one. That's the one right there. So, there aren't a lot of replacements for Dicor. Dicor is just one of those things that you just spend the money on because it's that good. What I will say is what the biggest mistake that I've seen from people that didn't want to spend $9.99 on Dicor, but they would spend $4.99 on silicone. Guys, do not use silicone really on anything unless you absolutely have to, because nothing sticks to silicone but silicone. And silicone is an awful roof sealant. It's not anything that I would recommend to be up on the roof. And please don't use silicone if you don't have to. Other than your bathtub, maybe. And even then, I would still recommend a non-silicone sealant for bathrooms and caulking around sinks and things like that. But up on the roof, absolutely do not. And I know Miss Karen, she has a great big patch of silicone up on her roof, and we're going to have to see what we can do with that. So, Dicor is a great product. It's been around for years and years, and absolutely do that. The other one that I'm going to say that I also use, and I have used it on this around sealing around windows. This is clear, but you can get it in just about any color. Big Stretch. It's not silicone. I couldn't tell you exactly what kind it is, but this stuff is amazingly tough. There's a little piece right on the side there, and just trying to rip this stuff off of there, even the stuff that just got on the tube, I can't get it off. It stands up to exterior, and I have gone and done the sealing around my windows on the coach. And I've never had to redo it. Once I've done it with Big Stretch, I've never had to redo that sealant around the windows on the coach. So it's also good for sealing up body panels or belt line trim or anything like that. So I recommend it. I like it. And, I've put it on other people's rigs too. I wouldn't recommend something that I don't use myself. So, but there you go. Remove that. So that's it, guys. There's 10 items. Now I know a lot of people were guessing the welder, and no, it's a full-time dream is in the house. Hello, how you doing? So hopefully that helps a little bit. All of these items, I dare say you could probably get them all for less than $50. And that's everything that we've shown on the show tonight. But I think it's going to wrap this one up. I'm so glad that you guys made it here. It's always good seeing you guys. Obviously, we have some great weather going on. I think it's about 85 degrees out, so I can't complain at all. But hopefully it is warm, not hot where you guys are. And we're just trying to keep the fires at bay here. There are some fires in Oregon, so they've been kind of picking up. But I think that's going to wrap this show up, guys. I'm so glad that you guys made it, and look forward. If you have comments or you think you could add to the to my top 10 list, you know, obviously toolbox stuff is going to vary person to person. We all know we're going to need the sockets, the wrenches, the hammers, the even metal shears and things like that. But these are some simple things that for probably less than 50 bucks will make your repairs professional, and hopefully once you repair it professionally, you'll never have to go back to it again. But so glad that you guys could be here. Oh my gosh, 82 up in Canada. Yeah, no, I'm glad. Hey, we're going to wrap this one up because we're already over an hour, guys. So glad that you could be here. We will see you next week. I don't know what we're going to have for a topic next week. Maybe comment down below, and if we see any good good add-ons for my top 10 list, we'll discuss those. But otherwise, gonna enjoy the ranch here. I'll be here for the next 30 days, but hopefully we'll be taking you out to places around Central Oregon each week, places where I recommend that you go check out. And that will be our background for our lives for a while anyway. So everybody have a good week. We will see you next time. Live life full time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.